Sup again, YouTube. I need to clarify an absolute dumpster fire of an acronym, Kbps, and along with that I might as well mention Mbps and Gbps. These all follow the same structure, so I'm just going to use Kbps for the example now. This right here could mean 4 different things, all relating to speed, but very different speeds. You'd think if I just wrote 1 Kbps that this would be one answer, but no, because people will write this the exact same way, when in reality it should be written these 4 ways, depending on which definition you're using. People don't know this, but each of these acronyms are important and mean different things, related but different things. And we will start with the most common definition, kilobits per second. And again, this might as well be M or G for mega or gigabits, but again, I'm just using kilo for an example. The pattern persists with all of them. This refers to a transfer rate of 1,000 bits per second. Kilo meaning 1,000, bits meaning bits, and per second. Straightforward when you spell it out like this. However, also very common, you will see this used to abbreviate kilobytes per second. And people mix this up all the time, and it drives me up the wall. Because this is an 8-fold difference. 8 kilobits per second equals 1 kilobyte per second. 8 kilobytes per second equals 64 kilobits per second. If we don't know which we're referring to, this gets out of hand very quickly, leads to a lot of confusion, which is why I need to emphasize when you are abbreviating this into the acronym, bits is always a lowercase b, and bytes is always an uppercase B. In fact, I'd really rather it be spelled like this. Capital K, lowercase b for bits, uppercase B for bytes, and a slash for per. Because I think that makes it a little bit more intuitive to read, easier to read, and a lowercase s. So that settles that, and that's the major thing. But what are these 2 other things? You almost never see this unless you're using Linux like a frickin' nerd, like me, but most people don't actually care to write these out this way. These are the measurements kbps per second and kbbytes per second. Okay, so now what is this with kibi? Again, this is like a replacement for kilo. So there's also mibi and gibi for the replacements for mega and giga. The main difference is that instead of these being based on multiplications by 1000, these are based on multiplications of 1024. Yes, this is strange, but the reason why this happens is because 1024 is an easier number to multiply in binary than 1000. This is because 1024 in binary happens to be 1 followed by 10 zeros. So when you're in the binary domain, it's an easy number to work with. But that's the only reason why these measurements exist. You essentially knock off the first 10 bits, or the least significant 10 bits, and then you have your measurement in kbps or kbbytes. The reason why you should be aware of these existence is that sometimes applications will use this type of measurement and just not tell you, and it's supposed to be close enough that it doesn't really matter 99% of the time. But if you're a programmer and doing testing where your math doesn't add up, this could be why. If you're calculating the throughput of some function and the calculation result you get is 2.4% off, this could very well be why. Also, for the people who get a 1 terabyte hard drive and then plug it into Windows and see that it only has 931 gigabytes available, this is also why. Windows uses kbbytes, megabytes, and gigabytes and terabytes to measure a hard drive capacity, but lists them in kilo, mega, giga, tera, etc. Windows is lying to you, essentially dividing the numbers too much and making them look smaller than they actually are. But when you buy it and you see on the box that it says 1 terabyte, that technically is still accurate, because those are actually based on tera, the proper metric prefix based on 1,000. So rest assured you are getting the 1 trillion bytes you paid for. It's just that Windows is saying it's 931 gigabytes and not telling you that it's using gigabytes. Anyway, that's it. Rant over. Go make your day a good day. You deserve it.